Hello everybody, it's me, Carmine DeStefano, the Bookman.
They call him the Bookman, his rants never end. He's angry and he's loud and he has a lot of friends. If you have Alyssa Milano's number, you can always send it to Carmine DeStefano, the Bookman.
That song don't make no sense.
Hello everybody, it's me, Carmine DeStefano, the Bookman. Now last month, I said that I would give you a brief history of Resident Evil 5 before actually getting into the game review. And here it is. Back in 2005, Capcom announced the release of their newest Resident Evil game for the then new powerful HD systems Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. It was set to be released somewhere around 2007, maybe early 2008, and even had screenshots for all to see. Then, in 2008, it was moved to the middle of 2008. After that, soon the end of 2008. And when we Resident Evil buffs got pushed to the brink of destroying everything around us like a bunch of feral, mindless, flesh-eating zombies, they finally gave us the ultimate release date. In March of 2009, Capcom gave us the 5th installment in the franchise that is called simply
Resident Evil 5.
Would it be worth the wait? Well, let's take a look at it together, shall we? The game opens up on the African terrain with old friend Chris Redfield giving us his background story to now.
A new era of bioterrorism descended upon vulnerable countries, shifting the balance of power throughout the region.
Entering this village, he comes across...
She's a lady! Whoa, 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 she's a lady!
Oh! And they enter it. I know that she's not real, but yes, I would. This is his new partner, Sheva, which brings about old bad memories of his previous partner, Jill Valentine. Together, they move further into this town, wow, that's pretty hot, and come across some strange acting civilians. After getting their weapons from their contact, they see what's behind these strange acting civilians. Neutralizing this character, they move further along, and again we get the excessive anal probing.
Let the game begin!
Every villager, including this juiced-up axe-wielding maniac, attacks Sheva and Chris. Eventually, other members of the BSAA blast a path for them to get through. Through these buildings, they find other members of the BSAA that had been slain by something that doesn't look like anything they've seen so far. Hey! Isn't that Venom? Basically lure this thing into the furnace and set it on fire so it can keel over and die. Watching their progress from afar is Irving and this cloaked woman. As they move deeper into the town, they then get attacked by bike-riding Mangini. Not to be confused with the Mangenius. But enough with reunions, they have to track Irving down. And they do, and finally we see...
Oh, I'm not like them. I'm a businessman with standards.
This annoying bastard will be your Salazar for the evening. He's saved by the mystery cloaked woman. Fighting through these dickheads with dynamite, they come across...
I heard the bat got him.
The bat? Oh, man, give me a break, will you?
Blast its underbelly until it flies away and crashes seemingly to its death. After that, it seems the Mangini are getting desperate, so you'll need your turrets to dispel their attacks. Then, Sheva and Chris come across...
Look out!
The big guy is back, but this time you have turrets. So blast it until it exposes its large caterpillar thing, I don't know, and then it'll keel over and die. Finding evidence of Jill's survival, Chris decides he's gonna go find her. Sheva says,
I'm going with you.
Yeah, I wouldn't need much convincing either. As they travel through the swamps into another small village, Chris tells Sheva the story of Jill's apparent death at the hands of old friend Wesker. Investigating further, they find the word Tricell, who apparently was funding the BSAA. They then come across Josh, who helps them catch on to Irving again. But he escapes on his boat and sets the place that they're on to blow. When they do eventually meet up with Irving, he injects himself with this particular brand of the virus that transforms him into a rather large crustacean thing with tentacles. Use your weapon inventory and the weapons on the boat to have him expose himself on this creature's tongue and eventually detach him from it. As he's laying and dying, Irving mentions that Sheva and Chris will have all their questions answered in this mine area, which is filled with statues whose arms you need to pull, as well as that bat creature you fought before. Then we meet one of the other people behind all of this, outside Wesker and the Hooded Woman, Excella. These women have to be the most beautiful cast of characters programmed in any video game. Alright, fine. But that's more quantity than quality. After solving the puzzles of the ancient mines, Sheva and Chris come across these special plants grown by Umbrella. And then they have to fight lickers. How I hate lickers. But they come across this central core area filled with biological experiments, some of which are rejects. They then find...
Oh, that's why.
Shoot this giant spider's legs until it exposes its mouth, then blast away its mouth until it keels over and dies. They think they found Jill, but instead find an empty capsule. Then they meet...
Mr. Redfield, how nice to finally make your acquaintance.
This goddess shows that she knows who Chris is somehow, which makes him want to move further in the military portion of this particular area. That also has giant cockroach things that are hard to kill and easily dispatch of you. They catch up to Excella and she introduces them to Ouroboros. Basically, it's the creature you fought in the furnace, only this time it's larger and you only have a flamethrower. Burn the son of a bitch up and it dies. You meet up with Excella again and she introduces you to the Hooded Woman and Wesker. And who exactly is the Hooded Woman? Hey, Jill Valentine! You battle Jill, who can do moves she never could before, and Wesker, who dodges bullets a la agents from the Matrix. Eventually, he'll leave you to face off against Jill alone. Apparently, she has this crystal that's controlling her mind on her chest. There are plenty of other things I'd rather do with her chest, but we have to rip this thing off. And when Chris and Sheva finally do, she comes back too and tells you that Wesker is planning on dumping Ouroboros around the entire world, and you have to stop him. Chris and Sheva track Wesker to this giant ship with militants and other monstrosities. They finally meet up with Excella face to face, only Wesker has injected her with this virus that's making her react in a very strange way. Wesker, you have to have lost all touch with humanity if you're going to turn...
Maybe I'll tell you, maybe I won't.
...into... You fight off this giant abhorrent abomination with your own weapon inventory and a satellite-produced ray gun until it cracks up and dies. Now there's only Wesker. Jill tells Chris and Sheva that Wesker's power is based on a virus. Overdosing the virus can eventually kill him. Now they have to find Wesker. have either yourself or your partner shoot rockets at Wesker so he can catch him and you can blow him up in his face. I'm not kidding. And after a while, he'll be weakened enough for you to inject him with this virus. Afterwards, Wesker is still able to escape onto his plane. So Chris and Sheva meet up with him. You have button-mashing time scenarios to fight off Wesker and dump him into this volcanic area. He's not dead, however, so instead he uses Ouroboros to fight you off. Eventually, Wesker will be weakened and fall into the lava. Josh and Jill save Sheva and Chris from the collapsing rock. However, Wesker wants to get his last shots in. Now it's time for some rocket launching action. Blast Wesker away, and Jill, Sheva, Josh, and Chris will fly off into the sunset. Now let's quickly take a look at the extras and the downloadable content. Between each chapter, you can buy and sell your equipment, also your special items, to get more money and upgrade your weapons fully. You can unlock costumes for Chris and Sheva, and choose either one of them in the main game. You also unlock the Mercenaries game, which has been expanded from Resident Evil 4, with a lot more characters and a lot more interesting weapon sets. The rules still apply though. Destroy a certain amount of enemies to get a certain rating, and also other points you can use to unlock other things. The two downloadable games are Desperate Escape, which is the story of Jill and Josh as they left the island and found Chris and Sheva. Also Lost in Nightmares, which was a replay of Chris and Jill's mission to find Wesker. It's a nice throwback to the original Resident Evil as it takes place in a suspenseful, quiet mansion. It has, however, these large creatures with their even larger blades. Another downloadable game is Mercenaries Reunion, which is the Mercenaries game just with completely different characters, like Excella, Barry, and Rebecca Chambers from Resident Evil 1. And that's pretty much it. So what did I think of this game? In all aspects, it delivers big time. It's Resident Evil at its finest, with new monsters to battle and smoother controls. The new inventory system makes it easier to flip between weapons, especially when you run out of ammo. Again, I don't mind the inability to run while shooting, since you need to be at your most accurate because ammo is limited. Unless you unlock unlimited ammo, then it's unlimited. The storyline itself is okay. It's nice to have Chris back. Sheva is, yes. And the partnership, both online and on your own, is really a good addition to this game. The only question I have is, what is Wesker's story? How did he go from the cool, smooth leader of the Bravo team into this genetically altered superhuman? I don't get how they were able to bring him back. I understand he was sort of manufactured, but it still doesn't answer the question where it all ties in from the first one. The only issue I had was how long it took for Capcom to finally release this game. Granted, the final product is without argument, but the next time you come up with a release date, can you release it on that date? Come up with a release date and stick to it. And thank you all for watching. I have more for you soon to come, so stay tuned, take care, and have a great day.